Okay. So theoretically, if you get onto the channel, it's live streaming right now, guys. That's a delay. As you can see, watch Nolan in the background playing on his phone still.
I'm getting on it right now.
You're trying to use your school camera, it doesn't let you view live streams.
What is it, Bonneville Garage?
Yes. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's gonna be fun. Watch the delay. I don't know. It gets bad over time. So we have our engine. We have a few things. I need a toolbox. Cody, if you want to grab the toolbox on the blue table, the one with the 1/4-inch sockets on it.
Yes.
Thank you. So today we're gonna
I would like to comment.
open this up. Then comment.
I can't.
Oh.
I would like to.
Okay, so you guys don't need to be on your phones though, okay? It's live in front of you at real time.
No, it's not.
Real time.
That's official. Thank you. Okay, my time, your times are done. So today we're going to take off several parts to open up the motor. First thing you want to verify if it has oil. And why would I want to know that?
Because it'll go everywhere.
Yep, so that one doesn't have a dipstick.
Yeah. Does it have oil?
Why does it have the oil in it?
This one has a dipstick. You will drain it
Into what?
into an oil catch. So what I'm doing is I'm looking in here and I'm going to just tip. So I think this one's good. Okay? So that's fine. I got my 2 oil plugs. I'll just set those aside. So oil plugs, one has a dipstick. What would the purpose of that be?
Check the oil.
Yeah, what would this one be?
Fill
To
it.
plug it and fill it. Okay? So I took those off. That's part of today's. I'll line them up. Okay? So the next thing I want to take off is the spark plug. In your toolbox, you'll have a specialty socket for the spark plug. The spark plug socket has a rubber inside it to help hold the spark plug in place. It also has a wrench on the side if you need additional force to remove it. Not that I have the right size for it. Okay, I'm going to slide it down, and you'll have to push it on for depending on which socket. If yours is worn out, this one's a little worn out inside there, but most of them are pretty fresh. So as you slide it on, you'll have to force it past that rubber. Once again, I want to make sure that my ratchet is set for off. Remember, we have to make sure our ratchets are turned off or the battery dies. Okay. You'll need your partner to hold the block as you remove this. Okay. So once I have it broken loose, I'm just going to go ahead and unthread it. Okay. And on Monday, that's when I see you guys again, we'll learn a lesson about diagnosing spark plugs and understand what that means in that coloring. Is that good? Is that bad? Okay. So there's number 2 I've removed, a spark plug. Next thing I'm going to remove are the rockers. This was one of your questions today, was the rockers. Okay. You'll have to remove these C-clips right here. Okay, and we want to remove just the inside one. We're going to leave this one here. Okay, so we're going to remove the inside. You'll need a small standard screwdriver. Now, what is a standard screwdriver? That's the flat one. Most of you guys just say the flathead screwdriver, but it is referred to as a standard screwdriver. Okay. I'm going to come in here and grab, and I'll show you after I pull it out. I'm just going to slide it out. I'm going to keep my finger on top. Okay, it is kind of spring-loaded, so it can launch out. There is not backup pieces for this. So I got my finger over it, and I pull it off. This is an E-clip. Why do you think it's called an E-clip? Kind of looks like an E. So kind of tough there to figure that out. Okay, that's your E-clip. Once I have removed, hey guys, it's my turn. Once I've removed this E-clip, I can then slide this pivot out. Okay. And now the rocker will come out. Okay, I've left the E-clip on the other side. So I've removed the exhaust rocker. Please do not mix them up. They are different. I'm now going to remove the intake rocker. That's what you're going to learn. There is the intake. This one's missing some pieces. Okay, and then since I went ahead and removed the two rockers, the push rods have just fallen down, so I'm just going to lift that out. Once again, make sure you know which one this is. This is intake, because it's near the carburetor. So that goes to that one. Now I'm going to grab the other one. This is the exhaust near the muffler side. Okay, I'm going to set that by that rocker. Okay, so the engine's almost gutted on the valve train alone. The next thing I want to remove are the 4 bolts that hold the head down. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so a 12 millimeter and an extension is what you'll need. Okay, once again, you'll need your teammate to help hold the motor in place to break these loose. I'm going to do a cross pattern, so I went from here. Now I'm going to go down to this one, not in a circle, but a cross pattern. Okay, now which one should I go to? Top. Now you can see I didn't remove them all the way. I'm just loosening them. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the ratchet. Just use this as like a nut driver and unthread the bolts all the way. There's one. Okay, you 3 are over there, standing. Okay, 2.
Whoa.
And the last one. Okay, I've now removed the head off of the motor, 4 bolts. Okay, and then we have the head gasket. I'm going to slowly just pull that off. Okay, sometimes you'll have these pop out. These are kind of jammed in that one. They might be stuck in the head or in the block. It's okay if they come out, just set them aside. So I have my head gasket. Now what's the purpose of the head gasket?
Seal the block in the head.
Yep, because even though they're really smooth, there can be deformities in this block, and especially as it heats up, it's going to change its shape between the two, because sometimes there's a steel sleeve here or different metals, and so they heat and expand at different rates. The head gasket is there to help seal those different chambers together. Okay, so that's the purpose of the head gasket. Once again, that's another part you need a photo of. Nuts and bolts, no. But the pieces that come off, yes. Okay, so now we got to take the valves apart. We have the valve sitting in here. This is the intake valve because it's closer to the carbureted side. We have the exhaust valve, which is near the muffler side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the valve with my thumb, actually with my fingers, and then I'm going to depress the keeper to move it out of the way. First thing I got to do is keep these little safety caps out. That's a safety cap right there to prevent the valve from sliding out of the keeper, and I'll show you that now. If you look, there's a little hole right there as it comes into focus. That's where we're going to move this rocker, this keeper, is we're going to push down and move it over to here. Okay, so I'm holding the valve up, I'm depressing this, and then sliding it over, and then up it comes because of the spring tension. Okay, let me do it one more time. So I'm going to move this valve retainer keeper so that the valve stem goes into that larger hole. I'm holding the valve on the back, I'm going to depress it and move it over, and up it comes. Okay, so now I can push the valve out. This is the exhaust valve, because no, it's not. It's the intake valve, right?
Yeah. Indeed.
Phone's away. Or I take them. So what valve is this?
Intake.
Why?
On the intake side?
It's on the intake side. So I'm going to put it with my intake parts. Okay, same thing with the valve spring and keeper and safety pin. So, what's the purpose of the valve?
That one, the air.
Okay, let's end the air-fuel mixture. Okay? What's the purpose of the spring?
Close it.
To close it. The retainer?
To hold it.
To hold the spring and valve in place. And the safety pin? To prevent the valve stem from coming out of the retainer. Okay? So now I have the exhaust side to complete that same thing on. Okay, and then I have the head. Okay, so we have almost all the parts. The next thing I need to take off is the flywheel. Okay, and we're actually going to save that for the next day. Yep. So this is where you'll be. You're going to have disassembled the valve train system off of the motor. So I have my oil cap and dipper, spark plug. I have my push rod, valve spring for the intake, valve retainer, okay, safety pin, my E-clip, my rocker pivot, the rocker, and valve. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Okay, there are lots of pictures here. The head gasket and then head. Okay, the head here is this being an overhead valve system, is the part that acts as the cap for the combustion, because if I were to try to create combustion without a cap, would it do anything? No. Yes.
Do you get to take pictures for the exhaust and intake side?
Yes. Because this way you can go back and put your measurements on those slides. Because you're going to measure all those parts later on. Okay? So the head is to act as the cap for the combustion, and it also holds all the valve train parts. Okay? There you go. That's where you will leave your parts. So if you have your safety glasses, you have your closed-toed shoes, pass the safety test, and have your disclosure sign, you may go to work. If any of those are missing, go to the classroom.